Beautiful viewers, prepare to get mad. A bombshell new report, excuse the phrasing, just exposed the true extent of American wounded service people in the Iran war, and more importantly, a broad Pentagon cover-up to hide the truth from the public. Ladies and gentlemen, if you hate this war as much as I do, if it disgusts you to see our people and our dollars sacrificed in the name of a stupid war that Donald Trump lost, have some whiskey on hand. If your teeth don't hurt by the end of this report, you're gonna need a drink. This is the David Reddish Show. Welcome, welcome, beautiful viewers. I am your host. Once again, please help me out and subscribe to this channel if you have not. But let's get into it. With talks for a treaty to end the Iran war as chaotic as ever, and no, the Iranians have not reopened the Strait of Hormuz, the world economy sits on the brink, and nations that depend on exports through the strait, which is most of us, are furious. Understandably. And perhaps most infuriating, 13 Americans lost their lives in this ill-planned assault, and hundreds more were wounded. Here's a brief recap.
Our most intense day of strikes inside Iran. The most fighters, the most bombers, the most strikes.
What Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's broadcast was coming to the skies over Iran, overshadowed somewhat by what Hegseth and Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman General Dan Kane did not tell us. Reuters first reporting 150 U.S. service members wounded since the war began. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt asked about that as she held the White House briefing.
Can you confirm that number and elaborate on that?
I can't confirm the exact number. I know it's within that ballpark, but I would defer you to the Pentagon for a specific number of wounded or injured thus far.
Not long after, the Pentagon confirming 140 service members wounded since the start of the war, 8 severely, in addition to the previously reported 7 U.S. personnel who lost their lives.
And as if the death of 13 brave Americans and the maiming of hundreds of others was not offensive enough, it turns out there is much more to the story. Much more. This morning, CBS dropped an explosive report about the extent of the injuries of the wounded, which are far worse than were previously known. And yes, I know, I'm not a fan of CBS since the Ellisons and Barry Weiss started mucking about with their news. I hate it too. But occasionally, the old journalistic gold still shines, courtesy of a few remaining veterans with integrity at that network. So you will want to see this. Take a look.
57-year-old Chief Warrant Officer Rodney Bierman has deployed overseas 5 times. His wife Amy told us she understands what to expect.
I knew that if anything ever happened, I would receive either an official phone call or an official visit.
That call came on March 2nd, one day after an Iranian drone struck this tactical command post in Kuwait.
They told me that my husband's injuries were classified as not seriously injured. He was treated and released back to duty.
Not seriously injured. Those are 3 great words for you.
That was the hope that I was hanging on to.
But Rodney was among the more than 20 wounded in the attack that killed 6 U.S. soldiers.
He took a lot of shrapnel from his head down to his legs.
Military medical records reviewed by CBS News show Bierman also suffered a concussion, hearing and vision loss, and blast lung, a condition caused by shrapnel damaging his lung tissue.
Some of those injuries he's going to have for the rest of his life.
The Biermans are among several survivors and their families who told CBS News they weren't being treated by the military as combat casualties, hindering their access to care. It's a claim the Army strongly denies.
Your wife was also told that you had a minor injury?
Yeah. Your husband was injured. He has a minor jaw injury. He's going to be returned to duty.
Sergeant First Class Corey Hicks was ripped apart by shrapnel from the blast and underwent multiple emergency surgeries at a Kuwaiti hospital. He's now in rehab at Walter Reed Medical Center in Maryland.
4 months in, I still haven't even seen neurology for my brain. So I've been raising flags with doctors and asking, hey, I still have headaches.
Concerns over gaps in care are the latest in a string of failures uncovered by our CBS News investigation. Soldiers say the Army disregarded warnings about thin defenses and ignored requests for medical supplies. Now they question the claim that the injured are back on post.
90% of those with injuries in this conflict have returned to duty.
Do you think the Army, the Pentagon, have tried to downplay this incident?
Absolutely, I think they have.
An Army spokesperson told CBS News the care and well-being of our soldiers is of the highest priority, and any assertion that the Army seeks to downplay a soldier's injuries is simply not true. Last month, Amy Bierman reached out to her senator, who passed along her questions to the Army. In a response, a top general defended the not seriously injured determination.
Do you accept that assessment?
No, that assessment is unacceptable.
The Army tells us that designation, not seriously injured, isn't what it may sound like. By the Army's definition, a soldier who is seriously injured is someone who is at risk of dying in the next 72 hours. As for Chief Bierman, he applied for a spot and got into a rehab unit at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. His wife, Amy, tells us, Matt, there is no timetable for when he can be home.
So there you have it. The Iran war has accomplished nothing. In fact, Trump actually lost clout and control in this war, and it only cost us 13 lives, billions of dollars, and hundreds of people with extraordinary injuries. And the worst part? It's not that the Pentagon and that drunkard sack of crap Pete Hegseth lied about this. It's that they do not want to treat their wounded. This is even more offensive than Trump banning disabled veterans from his parades and ceremonies because they look, in his view, weak. This is despicable. This shows you what these bottom-feeding ghouls think of our service people. This tells you what they think of the American people and their responsibilities to us. And as someone with veterans in his family, wounded veterans, something I have always taken pride in, this makes me want to get out a pitchfork. It's time for Pete Hegseth to resign, and if that butt-chugging, bigoted moron will not, it's time for him to get fired. Note to President Strokey Pants, if you're watching, here's an easy way to score some political points. Fire Hegseth now. This is the David Reddish Show.